Welcome back. Today is the day we finally get to cut out the splitter. After about 5 hours in Calgary, I finally got some plastic. This isn't really the plastic that I want. I found out where to get it after, but since this was super cheap, this is only 30 bucks, I thought I might as well use it. Also, it's a little bit thinner than I'd like. It is not a 1/4 inch. It's like 3-4 millimeters, where a 1/4 inch is 6 millimeters. So it's a little too thin, but I think we should still be able to make it work. And also, there's a little bit of weight reduction with using thinner plastic. Anyway, so I got it laid out to where it fits. So if you remember when we built the template, we thought it would fit on here. Well, it's a little bit too short, but this is the biggest plastic you can get, so we're just gonna live with it. I'm just gonna make it here, and if I want, I can always extend it that little couple inches, but I don't think that's really necessary because that's more than enough for the under tray and the splitters assembly. Also, I'm gonna be cutting out the winglets on it so we can fold them up, but we won't be mounting them today because I had to order a bunch of stuff from the States to bring it over to make the splitter rods, because I'm not gonna go buy $120 APR splitter rods. That's US, so it'd be like 140 Canadian, when I can make my own for about 50 bucks. And also, this is more a DIY, and if it gets broken, it's not too big of a worry. Same with this being $30 plastic, if I scrape it up and as an under tray, it's probably gonna get a little damaged. I can always rebuild it super cheaply. So I got it taped up everywhere, so it fits perfectly on here. I've got this edge perfectly lined up, and I got this edge perfectly lined up. This has just got to be more of a curve. We're gonna take my silver Sharpie and just outline the whole thing, and then we'll get to cutting it. To cut it, I am using a metal/plastic jigsaw blade. It's just one of your ones from Canadian Tire. They are the fine-toothed ones like that. They're really fine-toothed, and just using it on an old school Black & Decker jigsaw. This plastic's really flexible, so I'm worried about it flexing when we're cutting, but we'll figure out that once we get to it. First, we gotta trace this. Just like that, we should be able to go like this, pull this off, and there we go. We have our whole assembly on one piece of plastic. I am going to be keeping the template because it's going to be really helpful once I break that guy and have to build a new one. And this is a really good design. I think it's a perfect design for the STi. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it and just put it on the wall or something. But anyways, let's focus on this now. So I put it on one side of the plastic because hopefully we can get some pieces from here, maybe to do some other aero eventually, or when we're building the diffuser we can use it then. But I just thought I might as well keep a little bit extra. I was also thinking about making a blanking plate actually for these spots right here using ABS plastic, but we'll have to see. So I figured out how I'm going to cut it. I have some Tupperware and a box, and we're just going to keep it centered through the whole thing. As you can see, this is why this might not be the best plastic for it. Look how flexible it is, but we'll see how it works at the end. So I will get the jigsaw, and then I'll show you exactly how I'm going to start. Then we'll probably go into a time-lapse to get this done, because this is going to be a while. First time ever cutting any aero parts out of plastic, so what I'm going to be doing is going to be taking it really slow and making sure I got my line as well as possible. I do know that this isn't going to be perfect, but it's going to be something that's very functional and usable. As I said a couple times lately, is the car's more for function than form. I want everything to be as functional as possible, and that's why we're doing a full aero kit with it. Anyways, so it's not going to be perfect, I know that, but we're going to try to get it looking pretty good. So I got my jigsaw and my safety glasses, and we're going to see how this works. This is the first cut ever, so here we go. Wow, that actually is working quite well. It actually gets some smooth angles just because you're going. It does look like I'm cutting it up a bit, so I think I'm going to put some tape on the bottom of this guy, and then hopefully it doesn't cut it up. But now onto the time-lapse, because this is going to take me a while. go, we are finally done. That actually was easier than I was expecting. And there we go, that was actually surprisingly easy for my first time ever cutting out any aerodynamic stuff. The blades I'm using, they're metal/plastic blades, so they have a lot of teeth. They're 21 teeth per inch, and they just cut through that like butter, like no issue. I actually was modulating the speed because it's only on and off, so if you kind of modulate it, you get a little bit slower, then it just doesn't eat right through it. Anyways, it does make a mess. There, look at all this plastic from it. So that is one issue. I'm gonna vacuum it right up, but I ended up using the drill to just drill out the corners here and there. But actually it looks pretty good for my first time ever making aero, and I can't wait to get it on the car. It's gonna look awesome. But what I have to do now is I have to take a file and go fix up all the edges. So I'll show you what I'm doing when I actually do it, but all the edges have like little pieces on them. Also, I'm going to take the file and just smoothen out any places where I might have messed up a little bit, just make it look a little bit cleaner. And then it's time to heat it up and bend it. Let's see how that goes. Now it's time to clean up the edges, so it probably looks pretty good on camera. But if we go a little bit closer, you can see that there's like these little burrs, like as you would see when you're cutting metal or anything. So what we gotta do is clean up these edges. So if you look like right here, it's not that or clean, so what I'm just gonna do is go like that all the way down the edges, just file them down, and then that will clean up the edges so we don't have any of those. And as you can see, it makes it nice and smooth. So let me finish that, and the whole lip should kind of look like that. So there we go, the edges are all done. As you can see, they're nice and smooth. You're not going to catch yourself now. And now it's time to start doing the winglet. So what I'm thinking of doing is first taking this edge, figuring out exactly where the line is that I can line up, so like right there, taking 2 pieces of wood, sandwiching it with some C-clamps, and then we're going to just heat it up and slowly flex it. So let's see how well that works. So here we are at our corner. I'm going to first take our straight edge to figure out exactly where the edge that I should be bending is. So mostly it's lining up this guy with that guy. There. So it's pretty much on the very edge. And now we're going to take our blocks of wood and sandwich the plastic between it. You don't have to worry about the placement of the bottom piece, it's more the top piece, because that top piece is going to provide the structure for it to actually bend. So now it's the time of heating it. I just used a torch, definitely burnt it, so don't use a torch. But what you're going to do is you're going to heat up the surface. I'm going to use a blow dryer this time and just slowly bend it over. So there we go, it's almost a 90, but I've noticed I think I might have messed up a little bit, or it's just not completely 90 because this is in the way. But now we've got our line, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to clamp it like this now, and then finish it so we can kind of flex it a little this way. Okay, it's time to see how well this worked. I let it cool down, sitting like this, so hopefully it keeps the shape. But it looks like it's almost at a perfect 90, but then again, it could be the inner side flexing. Actually, that wasn't bad. I had no idea how this was going to work, and I didn't really think my idea of the wood was going to keep it perfect, but it's actually pretty good if we take a look. There's a little bit of sway, like if we look right here, it goes in a little bit more, but that's probably just because of the way it's actually designed. And then here's a little sharper of a point than right there. But I think even if I can heat this up, I can probably bend it a little bit more. We gotta work on that side, so it should be done in 3, 2, 1. There we go. We have the other side done. Check it out. It looks awesome. So I actually got even a better cut here. If you look, it's like perfect almost. And what I did there is I had a clamp of wood here, and then I took 2 metal strips and clamped them on this side, and then used the leverage and made sure it's all straight. But like, this is my first ever aero, so I think it's still pretty darn good. It looks awesome. Definitely love the winglets. That's all the modification we have to do to plastic. So theoretically we're done today, but I wouldn't leave you guys without putting it on the car and mocking it up, because we do have to wait for the support rods. I'll show you. Those are full custom support rods that are over 1 foot long, and you can actually go as long as you want. As long as you can find the rod, you can make the support rods that long, so that means we can do some really crazy stuff with the diffuser too eventually, and we're gonna have to figure out how to mount this to the chassis. But since we have no mounting hardware today, we're not gonna mount it, but I thought we might as well just put it up like we did on the cardboard and mock it up and see how it looks in black. But first I've got to clean it up a bit. It's really dirty, really dusty, and I got to take the Sharpie off. So that should be easy. It should just be that. So actually the best thing to remove Sharpie is Goo Gone, like the stuff to remove stickers and stuff. It removes Sharpie really well. It's like oily, so you just wipe it down with like some Fantastic or all-purpose cleaner. Anyways, it's now time to put this on there. And there we go. Look how aggressive that is. I just got to fix this corner. Actually goes too far. If we look from the side, it kind of if you zoom in, it kind of goes out too far that way, but once we get it mounted, we'll fix it. Look how that follows that. That's awesome. Look at how much it's sticking out. And then if we walk around, it is drooping a little bit, but which is nice is we'll have a rod here and here, so support's right there. Essentially it's going to pull it right up and hold it right where it's supposed to be. Look at that lip. That's massive. And then same on this side. I've just got to fix. This is more like what we want, where it follows the body line. So this is almost too far inwards now, so we'll figure it out. So there we go. Just in a couple of days work, we went from a cardboard dream to a beautiful splitter. Now all we have left is to support it and mount it. That's going to be a whole nother day in itself, just figuring out how it goes. I'm probably also going to smoothen out some of these edges as they're not perfect, but there we go. It looks so aggressive. And look at how the wheel just fits perfectly. This actually might need to be bent up a little bit more, but I can do that later. So that did take all day, just shaping it and cutting it and everything. So that is going to be it for today, but I'm extremely happy the way it turned out, especially being my first aero kit I've ever done. I have never done anything to do with plastic or aero, so I can't wait to actually try this and test it, probably autocross, and just taking it out on the road. Anyways, that is going to be it for today, so as always, peace out and stay humble.